This wasn't the video you were expecting, because this actually isn't about an update. Instead, I want to talk about something that has been on my mind lately: the amount of cheaters in Need for Speed Unbound, specifically on PC. I have had my fair share of cheaters in games before, and rightfully so. I have clocked in over 500 plus hours into this game, particularly the Steam version, and throughout the game's second year of support, I've been enjoying it more and more to the point where I have been grinding out all the Lakeshore Online unlocks through legit means. I've had fun grinding out a ton of things in this game. Other times it has been somewhat frustrating, particularly the PvP stuff, and that is where a massive chunk of cheaters on PC reside in for the most part. Now, for the record, I want to state this: I have never cheated on any games that I have played. I never have, and I never will. I prefer to do things legitimately, no matter how long it takes for me to get everything in them. And if you've watched any of my videos, you would know that I never cheat. I am a man of legitimacy, and even if legitimacy takes much longer than cheating, at least I'm not using some sort of debug menu or something just to gain an advantage. Lots of people who don't like legitimacy go out of their way just by utilizing tools to influence the game's rules and bend them to their favor instead of actually trying to get good at it, making their lack of skill even more noticeable. Brawn over skill isn't the order of the day here, and it should never be for this game. I've seen a few people manage to beat cheaters just with their skill alone. Sometimes they lose because of those cheats. I didn't bother going back to the game when PvP was first introduced in Volume 6. There were a small chunk of cheaters as far as I could tell going by the footage from other YouTubers at the time, but as the game's second year progressed, we've been getting a slew of new players coming in as well as more cheaters invading Lakeshore Online. Volume 7 wasn't that bad in terms of how the presence of cheaters were, as far as I could tell, because when they did the solo playlists update back in June last year, I was grinding away those car challenges, so I found no cheaters because I was focusing on myself, brushing up my skills as I went along. But when Volume 8 dropped, cheaters were starting to be a little more common, and this volume is where I first stepped into PvP because I was working on my cop career, getting rank 10 done, but I wasn't about to stop now that I began working on the PvP challenges to get the banner titles. I encountered one person in a Hot Pursuit playlist who was a racer like me, using a Porsche 911 Carrera S, and I was in the Porsche Taycan Turbo S, and he just took off like a torpedo off the line, but his driving skill alone is what caused him to lose. And thanks to the Taycan Turbo's fast acceleration startup when you get a perfect start, I was able to evade a lot of the cops early on and managed to win over the cheater. Someone like that, who cheats, but loses anyway, is just a complete utter joke to the game, failing massively as they play it. However, I think we're starting to see the worst of cheaters now with Volume 9. They've become so rampant within the PC version of the game that depending on what they use and what mode you're in, results may vary. But I want to talk about how to find a possible cheater on PC. If you just look at a profile that has a profile picture of the usual gray background with a white smiley face, and they have the rookie or any of the default banner titles that you see on screen right now, that is likely to give off the impression that they may be a cheater. On other consoles, you can't really see their profile picture, but you can still technically see their banner contents and rank. They'll usually be on the lower ranks like the rookie tier, status seeker tier, maybe rising star or higher, but if any of them have such titles attached to their banner, proceed with caution. Sometimes they might even have a customized profile picture just to look different, but if they have said banner titles still applied to them with their low rank, that doesn't change the possibility of them being a cheater. When you constantly play legitimate, and some scumbag is utilizing a cheat engine just to win, and you see them roaring past you and down the road at the speed of light, and no matter what you did, you would lose the race within seconds. It's just so demoralizing and rage-inducing to the point where you wanted to find out where that person lived and give them a smack across the face that knocks some sense into them. It's not a skill issue, it's someone bending the game's rules in their favor just to be able to win over them, and it's annoying, possibly even more so kicked up to the point where the game can be downright unenjoyable. So you just leave the playlist because you don't want to deal with them. Remember, people on PlayStation and Xbox consoles, it's incredibly rare to find people who cheat on those in specific. It's just PC that is the worst platform because that is where the majority of the cheaters come from. You have one tool at your disposal, and that is to disable crossplay. Yes, your searches will be more limited, but you'll at least eliminate playing with those PC players because they're usually seeing when crossplay is enabled. But even so, you'll be very likely to encounter a cheater regardless, just not as often. It's just very annoying when you come across one, and to make matters worse, EA just doesn't really have the time nor money to really do anything about this. They are well aware of cheaters in Unbound, but what they really only care about is money, and nothing else. I doubt that they're going to invest that money into an anti-cheat system, but that doesn't stop us from wanting one for this game. I still love Unbound. I think it's one of the best Need for Speed games ever made. But to see so many cheaters plague this game is just horrendous now. We have people getting infinite burst nitros, we have people elevating their rating to the highest tier and tackling corners at full speed, and now in lockdown mode, people teleporting to lockups and looting them, as well as teleporting to bike spawns the moment they appear, claiming trucks before anyone else gets to them, and getting everything within a much quicker span of time. This game is so infested with cheaters now. I think with the release of Volume 9, the amount of them on PC has skyrocketed like never before, and this is why grinding out the 250 wins in PvP is a nightmare with crossplay enabled because of these people. As frustrating as PvP can be, if you're racing against a cheater, just don't bother with them. Block them and then leave. Reporting them does nothing because EA doesn't make bank off doing that. Oh, but if you do block someone, you won't be matchmaking with them again. Supposedly. I had one time where I was annoyed by a cheater to the point where I blocked them, but then sometime later, I'm back in the same room as him. I thought the block function was to not only keep them from adding me as a friend, but to avoid matchmaking with them in the future. What is the point of a block function when only half the functions work? So apparently, I'm only blocking out their possibility of them adding me on the EA app. How does me blocking someone not allow them to add me, but still allows me to enter a room with them? Isn't it not supposed to put me in the same room as they're in? Throughout this video, you might have been wondering, oh, you're attacking both modders and cheaters the whole time. No, never have I said the word modding in this video. And that's because mods and cheats technically aren't the same thing. Modding is defined as customizing the visuals of a game without modifying the game's rules of play. Cheating is defined as manipulating the game's rules in your favor just to have an unfair advantage over other players. Those are the actual definitions of those two terms, and you cannot prove to me otherwise. Believe it or not, the modding community for this game is completely innocent, as they have nothing to do with cheating because that's not what they do. Have cheaters ruined the game though? No, I wouldn't think so. But is it fun to deal with cheaters? No, it's not. Need for Speed Unbound is starting to become more and more difficult to enjoy online because of these cheaters. As mentioned, with each new volume release, we've been getting a whole slew of new players while having more cheaters show up, and they've been plaguing the game's online mode for quite a while now. EA's sheer incompetence of dealing with these cheaters has made the experience less enjoyable, and we need to do something about it before it gets any worse. So guys, I want you to do something for me. Yes, this may be a bit much to request this of you, but please spread this video around. This kind of cheating has gone way too far in this game. With enough shares of this video all around, we can potentially get EA or Criterion's attention to get them to put an anti-cheat system for the sake of this game's future. Because it seems like this game's life isn't quite done yet, and there's still a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, seemingly. Heck, maybe even make your own video about this topic and show it to EA to tell them that we want cheaters out of this game. They may not be focusing much on Unbound, but we can make them. Not threaten, mind you, you're better than that. But again, spreading this video and likely your own take on this. Now then, seems like I might want to grind out the 250 wins in PvP with crossplay disabled from this point, and hope that I can make somewhat decent progress without encountering cheaters left, right, and center. No skilled player likes to play against cheaters because it's not fun. In the slightest. Anyone on PC willing to help me, please? With all that said, that's the end of the video. If you like these kinds of narration videos with gameplay in the background, I'd be down to do more of them for your pleasure. I had a bit of fun making this video, even though it's more of a quicker one. I will be doing the same for the upcoming update video with a bit more style into it for multiple games. So leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, let me know if you want to see more videos like this, and there's more car game videos coming. Later, guys.